Rochester Area Foundation has a $20,000 grant for transitional housing, and they've also offered to give probably at least about another $5,000. We have money that we've raised. We haven't, like Jamie said, we haven't decided exactly where to put all that yet, because it's all going to depend on what comes out of some of the things we're looking at here today. The county is also being asked to potentially match that RAF grant. And right now, there's a house that we've been looking at over near Pill Hill, and it's not big, it's not perfect, it needs work. Question being, how much money is it going to cost to fix it up appropriately? We don't want to put a Band-Aid on it and say that things are better. We want it to be a place that's going to be healthy for whoever's in it. But I can say that RAF is experienced with flipping houses. They're the First Homes program providers, and they've done a lot of it. And they feel like the work, if the right work is done in this house, it's one of the, they would tell you it's one of the houses that's been in better shape to start with than a lot of the ones that they've worked on. And so yes, it needs some work, but there hasn't been anybody in it for years. And we as a group also think that one of the things that needs to happen is it probably needs a new roof. It's got 3 skylights that need to be taken out and have a new roof put on and everything to keep the water damage that's been a problem in there. And it's got some mold problems out in the garage that I think hopefully can be dealt with. And I think there's certainly things that can be done to make it livable. And in that case, what we would be looking at is probably a space big enough for 5 or 6 youth. Probably 6 would be an absolute max. I'd say 5 is probably 4 to 5 comfortable. And turning it into a transitional home. And I think if possible, I spoke with Tammy for quite a while yesterday from Lutheran Social Services. I'm glad to have her here today. She's right here if anybody's wondering. Lutheran Social Services has programs like this in the state, over in Mankato and Wilmer and Duluth. And they have a lot of experience in some transitional housing programs, outreach programs. And they have been fairly committed to the possibility of running the social programs within the home. And we also talked a little bit about how it would be nice if we could have within the home also a drop-in center. And so it would be serving both as a drop-in center and a home. And she was excited about that as a possibility as well. So Tom, grateful to have Tom Kuntz here also from HUD. And he can talk a lot about other programs from around the state and give you some specifics about other programs that they've had. We could talk some about funding that's available, different programs that we can try to go through for that. And so I think we should let him present a bunch of the stuff on some of the different programs. And I guess the idea at this point for us is, we've heard it several times, there's been a lot of talk, there's been a lot of meetings, and nothing's getting done. And LGR at this point and RAF at this point are committed to, let's do something and not sit on our hands again. And so that's why we're starting small. You know, if we could start with a small home that serves, say, 4 or 5 people, and it was successful, then hopefully we could show the community that this is working, this is helpful, move it into a little bit bigger scale, potentially get money from somebody like a HUD or a more local organization. The other concern that's out there then is the sources of funding. Because grants are grants. Are they always going to be there? We don't know. But you know, you also have to look at it and say sometimes in order to do something, you have to take advantage of what is available. And you can't just say, well, it might not be here 3 years from now, so we can't do it. You have to do what you can. And at this point in time, that house is paid for. The county owns it. RAF would basically lease it very cheaply for a yearly basis, and they would put it out on potentially like a 3 to 5 year lease to us or whatever organization chooses to take it over. And after, say, whatever the decision was made for, say, 3 to 5 years, if things were going well, extend it. If things weren't going well and things went wrong, they would take control of it back and try to sell it or do whatever it is they're going to do. So they're putting it out there at a very low risk, in my opinion, for whatever program's willing to take this on and give it a try. Okay? Yes.
Steve, is the 20,000 they're willing to contribute in addition to leasing it? from the county?
The leasing it from the county will not cost anything, basically.
Oh, okay.
Because
So
the house is
county-
paid for. The proposal that's been put out there is to basically lease it for $1 a year.
Okay.
So, if we can afford that, it'll be all right.
Okay.
But the 20,000 then is to run the, that 20,000 that they have has to go towards transitional housing. And then the county would help to fix up the house, get a new furnace, help with, you know, things that need to be renovated within the house. And then our money, potentially whatever we provide, would go towards, you know, helping to fix up the house. Hopefully having money set aside for helping to run programs. Tammy told me yesterday that they're now through LSS, including the Rochester area in the current grant proposal that they're writing, and increasing by quite a bit the amount of money that they're asking for in order to incorporate Rochester into their area. If they did that, they would have a pretty nice swath across southeastern Minnesota and southern Minnesota, and have a lot of coverage, and that would be awesome for us. But again, the concern being, if they provide the social services, who is going to take control of the house? Is it going to be LSS? Are they going to do it that and provide the social services? Or we've also talked to the sheriff's youth program. I don't know that we have anybody here today from SYP, but they were also very interested potentially in collaborating. And they've got a lot of programs like that in the state. So maybe it would be a collaboration between LSS and SYP. WDI, I know. Who knows, maybe a WDI, Workforce Development Inc., could somehow be involved in the process. So that's what we're trying to figure out, who's going to be involved. Other questions at all before we let Tom give us this? Okay, here's it.